In this video, we are going to talk about how to avoid burnout while still staying productive. Before that, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had that moment late at night where you're lying in bed, finally ready to sleep, and a notification lights up your phone? It's your boss. Just a quick reply, you think, but suddenly it's midnight. Your brain's racing and rest feels miles away. Or it's the weekend and instead of relaxing, you're answering work chats on WhatsApp. Sound familiar? Yeah, I'm sure you have experienced it before. How is it possible to feel proud of our work while making sure our job doesn't completely take over our life? Because let's be honest, the modern workplace isn't just a 9-to-5 anymore, it follows us everywhere. And when work is always on, burnout is inevitable. But here's the good news. You don't have to choose between being productive and taking care of yourself. You can have both. And today, I'm going to show you how. When I first read Slow Productivity, I was genuinely inspired. It completely flipped the script on what I thought I knew about success. We're constantly told that more work means more achievement, that if you're not busy, you're not doing enough. But this book introduced me to a radical idea. Do less, but do it better. I know this might sound counterintuitive, and honestly, many people reject the notion of doing less. We've all been conditioned to believe that every minute of our day must be filled with tasks. It's like we're in a race where the faster you go, the better you are, even if it means skipping quality for quantity. Imagine you're at a restaurant. The common assumption might be that a chef who's frantically chopping ingredients all day must be the best. But the real magic happens when a chef takes the time to select the perfect ingredients, prepare them with care, and present a dish that's both delicious and artful. That's the power of doing less, but better. It's about being intentional with your time, cutting out the noise and focusing on the high-impact tasks that truly move you forward. For instance, consider a manager who spends hours lost in emails, barely leaving time for strategic planning. By cutting down on those low-value tasks, that manager can focus on creating a strategy that makes a real difference. If you're aiming for a promotion, then focus on work that makes your value visible, like leading high-impact projects, solving tough problems, or consistently hitting key goals. If you're a software engineer, then spending time building or improving the core features that solve your users' main pain points will likely matter more than fixing every minor bug. If you're an accountant, you might find that a small number of clients or reports generate the most value or the most issues. Prioritizing those ensures better financial clarity and fewer last-minute fires. This approach has been a game-changer for me. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by an endless to-do list, I learned to prioritize what truly matters. That's how you stay productive without burning out. And if you're unsure what those high-impact tasks are for you, don't worry. Continue watching because we'll explore some practical examples that might help you figure that out. By the way, if your brain just whispered I needed this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started. One powerful way to avoid burnout is to reconnect with why your work matters. It's easy to lose sight of purpose when you're buried in meetings and deadlines, but having a clear sense of why you do what you do can act like fuel. It energizes you and gives you direction. Daniel Pink's book Drive explains that one of the key elements of long-lasting motivation is purpose. The desire to do something that matters, to contribute to something larger than yourself. The other two elements are autonomy and mastery, which also play a big role in avoiding burnout. But this is a story for another time. If you're interested in learning more about autonomy and mastery, leave a comment below to let me know. For now, let's focus on purpose. Okay, let's be honest. Not every one of us can have a glory purpose like Satya Nadella to turn around Microsoft Business or Steve Kerr to lead Team USA to Olympic gold in 2024. or even introduce ourselves like Loki with glorious purpose. But we can all find purpose in our work. Let me give you an example. I remember a manager at my company who had been in the same role for many years. For him, the work had become almost routine. But instead of coasting, he created a new sense of purpose, mentoring fresh management trainees. He spent time guiding them, coaching them, and helping them grow. Fast forward a few years, and those trainees have all become outstanding analysts. That leader now feels deeply fulfilled, not because his job changed, but because his purpose within it did. When you align your work with your purpose, even challenging days become more manageable and burnout feels less overwhelming. Purpose gives your productivity meaning. Let's talk about deep work, the kind of focused work where you're fully locked in. And this is where the magic happens. You enter the flow state. You know that feeling when you're playing your favorite video game and suddenly 3 hours pass without you realizing? You're focused, alert, and totally in the zone. That's flow. And guess what? You can create that same experience at work. Why does this matter? Because when you're in flow, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. It boosts your motivation, sharpens your focus, and makes work feel way more satisfying. Instead of grinding through the day, you actually start enjoying the work. Even better, flow protects you from burnout. It gives you a sense of progress, control, and accomplishment. You're not constantly switching tasks or checking notifications, you're cruising, and that's energizing. Here's how can you trigger it, and stay tuned because I'm going to give you an example on how to apply it. First, eliminate distractions. Mute notifications, clear your workspace. Second, set a clear, specific goal for your session. Thirdly, choose a task that's just the right level of difficulty. It should stretch you, but not stress you out. Finally, work in focused time blocks. Try the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. Sounds abstract? No worries, let me show you how to apply them. Let's say you're working on a business review presentation. Instead of trying to finish the whole presentation at once, break it into chunks. Maybe your first flow session is just for gathering insights from the latest performance data. You shut off distractions, set a 25-minute timer, and dive deep into just that task. Then, your next block is focused purely on creating the first few slides. Because you've set clear, achievable goals for each session, your brain gets that sense of progress and momentum. You're not overwhelmed by the full presentation slides, you're immersed in one clear task at a time. That's how flow happens. Whether you're writing, coding, solving problems, or creating something new, get into deep work, tap into flow, and watch your productivity take off without burning out. Imagine it's a long-awaited holiday weekend. You've been looking forward to this break for weeks, and the plan is simple. Relax and recharge, but then you find yourself sprawled on the couch, binge-watching TV shows or endlessly scrolling through social media. At first, it seems like the perfect way to unwind. However, by the end of the day, you still feel exhausted and unfulfilled. Instead of truly resting, your mind has barely taken a break. It's just been overloaded with passive stimuli. Now picture an alternative scenario. Instead of succumbing to the lure of the screen, you decide to step outside. You go for a leisurely walk in a nearby park, soak in the fresh air, and let your thoughts drift away from work. After your walk, you stop by a quaint cafe and savor a nice cup of coffee. This slow morning ritual, walking in nature and enjoying that calming moment with a warm drink, resets your energy level, clears your mind, and gives you a true sense of renewal. But why stop there? In the afternoon, you reconnect with friends or loved ones, maybe a casual lunch or even just a coffee chat, to share some laughs and stories. Later, if you're feeling it, allow yourself a refreshing nap. This combination of physical activity, social connection, and rest creates a holistic approach to recharging. It's all about intentionally stepping away from work so your body and mind can genuinely recover, leaving you energized and ready for your next challenge. Let me tell you about the story of my friend. Despite having a demanding job that keeps him traveling, Hong Kong one week, Japan the next, he always manages to carve out time for himself. No matter which country he's in, after a long day of back-to-back meetings, he puts on his running shoes and heads out for a run. This isn't just about staying fit, it's his way of recharging mentally. When he exercises, something amazing happens. His body releases endorphins, those feel-good hormones that not only boost your mood, but also act as natural stress relievers. You know that rush of energy after a good run? That's your brain thanking you. His runs clear his mind, reduce cortisol, the stress hormone, and help him reset. It transforms the chaos of travel and work into moments of calm and clarity. But it's not only about exercise. Hobbies, whether it's painting, playing music, or even cooking, serve a similar purpose. They allow you to enter a flow state outside of work, where you're completely immersed and your mind gets a break from the constant pressures of deadlines and meetings. This mental shift is crucial. It not only helps prevent burnout, but also fuels creativity and resilience when you return to work. So, whether it's running across city parks in foreign lands or picking up a paintbrush to express yourself, these non-work activities are an investment in your well-being. They remind you that there's more to life than work, and they help keep burnout at bay. One of the most important ways to prevent burnout is to establish clear boundaries between work and personal time. Now, I know logging off work at 5 p.m. sharp is difficult for most of us. Here's the thing, you could log off at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., or even 10 p.m. But promise yourself, after you're off, you are completely off from work. It might sound simple, but many of us struggle with it, especially when we work remotely or have our phones glued to our hands. Responding to just one more message or checking that quick update might seem harmless, but over time, it chips away at your recovery time. Start small. Turn off notifications after work hours. Create physical rituals like cleaning your workspace or stepping outside for a walk that signal to your brain that the workday is done. Boundaries aren't about being lazy. They're about being sustainable. When you protect your personal time, you're not only preserving your mental health, you're also setting yourself up to show up fully when it's time to work. You now have a roadmap to protect your energy and avoid burnout while still staying productive. But here's the next step. If you want to keep growing without burning out, it's not just about working hard, it's about working smart. In the next video, I'll show you how to use deliberate practice, the method top performers use to improve faster and more effectively. You'll learn how to get better at what you do with less wasted effort. So if you're ready to level up, I'll see you there.